Welcome to the Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome to another edition of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella, here with Jay Dash. Going to talk a little bit about Le'Veon Bell and his contract situation with the Steelers. They did franchise tag him, so that gives him a one-year deal worth a little over $12 million. Now, as far as average annual salary, this isn't total overall salary. LaShawn McCoy sits next at $8 million per year, followed by Jonathan Stewart at 7.3, Doug Martin at 7.1, and Lamar Miller at 6.5. Amazingly, Chris Ivory is up there next at 6.4. He makes more than DeMarco Murray does. I don't know how that's possible per year anyway.
Yeah,
but
that's a terrible deal.
My question to you, Dash, is if you're the Steelers, do you keep Le'Veon as a franchise tag, let him play out this year, then look for that long-term deal? Or do you trust that he's going to stay clean and stay healthy, give him the long-term deal now, knock that cap hit down a little bit? Because like I said, the next highest running back's only at $8 million, and that's LaShawn McCoy. So you could drop that cap number at least $2 million per year by signing him to a long-term deal. That'll give the Steelers a little bit more flexibility to maybe try to sign a free agent veteran defensive player, but we both know how that usually turns out.
Yeah, well, I think they actually still do have a good bit of money, don't they, to spend? I think they still could sign a free agent, even if they didn't re-sign Le'Veon Bell to a long-term deal, but
they have around about $19 million left now after signing Brown long-term and franchising Bell. And then a couple
they still got to
moves.
sign Lawrence Timmons. I know that's one contract they got to get in the books, but that's going to be $4, $5, $6 million at very most. I don't think it's going to be $6 million. Probably around $5 million, I would guess.
Yeah, he's pushing for $7 million right now, but I don't think anybody else is going to offer him that. So I think when free agency starts, it's kind of his value will be set.
Even if you gave him $7 million, I mean, there's still a good bit of money there, and I think they can bring in someone if they really want to.
They do want to I guess not re-sign, but sign Stephon Tuitt long term, so that'll eat up a little bit of the cap too.
But I think it might also be a good idea to just franchise tag him for this year because he hasn't been able to stay healthy throughout a full season. You still want to see him do that. And if he doesn't, you might be able to say, hey, you know what? You haven't been able to stay healthy at all now. If you're going to sign this long-term deal, we're not going to give you that top-end dollar. You know what I mean? You got to stay healthy.
See, now the deal that they gave to Antonio Brown, it does make him, I don't know, somehow he's the highest paid receiver in the league. I forget by what statistic. But if you go by average annual salary, he's ranked like 16th in the league. Or maybe it's guaranteed money. He's ranked 16th in the league, not average, excuse me. So Brown gets the big deal, has all this money, but only about $19 million of it guaranteed. Are you trying to do something similar with Le'Veon where, yeah, he would be the highest paid player at his position short term, but also as far as long term, it's not going to cripple you if Le'Veon does end up, getting hurt again or getting suspended again?
Well, I don't think it would be a terrible idea, and that's why I don't think they're going to try to do it right now, though. I don't think they want to sign two different players. They're going to be the highest paid player in the league at their position, both in the same year. So I think they would be better off waiting a year, see if he can stay healthy. And if he does, I mean, that could hurt him in the end, too. So if you think he is going to stay healthy, you might want to do it this season, So you just got to think, what's going to happen this season? What's the most likely outcome? If the most likely outcome is he's not going to be able to play the full season and through the playoffs, then I would wait a season. If you think he is going to come back healthy and look as good as he has when he is healthy, then I think you should sign him now.
Now, as far as guaranteed salary, Ezekiel Elliott is number one amongst running backs with $24 million guaranteed at signing for a 4-year deal. LaShawn McCoy got a 5-year deal with a little over $18 million guaranteed. Doug Martin signed a 5-year deal with a little more than $15 million guaranteed. So what do you think will be the guaranteed money for Le'Veon if they would sign him long term? Somewhere above that 24? I don't see them giving Bell more guaranteed money than they gave Brown.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't think he's going to get that much guaranteed. So
that's crazy that Ezekiel Elliott got that much guaranteed as a rookie.
Yeah, who knows? Whatever. Dallas is stupid.
Yeah.
I
I
heard
mean, they
Tony
got him until
Romo might go,
2021.
or
So
they were talking about Tony Romo to the Redskins, but Jerry Jones came out and said it's false. I don't know.
yeah, there's supposed to be some three-way trade they're trying to work up
Mm-hmm.
to with Romo. Not too many three-way trades in the NFL. So what kind of years are you looking at in dollars if they do sign Le'Veon long term? As far as total overall compensation, you got LaShawn at 5 years, 40 million, Stewart at 5 years, 36 and a half, Doug Martin 5 years, 35.7, and Chris Ivory 5 years, 32 million. You got to think he's going to get more money than Lamar Miller, Chris Ivory, Doug Martin. Doug Martin's on the chopping block. He might get axed from Tampa Bay even, and Jonathan Stewart's really coming near the end of his productive part of his career anyway. I don't know if the Steelers are ready to lock into a guy for something like 5 years, 40 million though, like
It's
LaShawn.
tough.
It's scary, honestly. The 18-2 guaranteed is what LaShawn got. So if Pittsburgh gives him that, that's almost 40 million guaranteed they just gave to two players. They have right now about $100 million invested in the offense and the rest of the cap going towards the defense. They definitely got to spend some money on the defensive side of the ball if they want to be a Super Bowl contender. I'm not saying go out and sign 15 guys, but like maybe one guy would really help that could come in and be productive right now. So I almost lean towards signing Le'Veon if you get the right deal, something like Antonio got. Because you did mention earlier you don't want to have the two highest paid players, the highest paid wide receiver and the highest paid running back in the same season. But they basically do right now as far as average annual salary because Le'Veon's going to make $12 million for this year. The next highest would be LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah, but it's scarier having that over a 5-year term.
Right. So the only way I see it as being a positive for Pittsburgh is, you got to sign the draft class. They want to re-sign to it. They want to sign Timmons again. So you're probably going to see it somewhere drop to like, I don't know, 7 million available after all that happens. And that's just a number I'm picking out of my head. So it's not anything that's written on paper. An extra 2-3 million to add to that, if you could knock Le'Veon's cap hit down for this year, would go a really long way. It would really help that defense out. I mean, we only have a few more years of Ben Roethlisberger left. We both know once he's gone, the Super Bowl contention is gone until we find another franchise quarterback. So Bell being here long term makes a little more sense to me than Brown being here long term because we've seen Brown's production drop with Landry Jones in at quarterback. Le'Veon Bell is pretty much the same production no matter who's toting the rock at quarterback.
But he also never plays in the playoffs. At least never finishes. I guess he did play this year, and he looked damn good as well, but he just can't finish the season, man.
Yeah, they're unlucky injuries, really, if you ask me. It's no different than, Vontaze Burfict going out and laying out Brown last year in the head and forcing him to miss the game, or 2 years ago, I guess I should say now, and forcing him to miss the game against Denver. So it's really just unlucky injuries at that time of the year. It's not really anything that you can control, not that you can control injuries really at all.
I tell you what, he was definitely overused, and that definitely plays a role in injuries, man, because the more you're out there, the better chance you have of getting injured.
No, I'm glad you said that because I forgot that we talked a little bit about this through email about a week or so ago. Le'Veon hit that dreaded 400 touches mark in the NFL last year. He touched the ball a total of 405 times. Haven't been too many running backs.
He touched the ball 405 times, and he missed the first 4 games of the season, correct?
Yeah. Well, missed the first 3 and then missed the last one. So he missed 4 regular season games.
Okay.
I think that number includes the 2 playoff games, but that's still not even a full season's worth of work.
Right.
So, yeah, 405 touches in that short amount of time. It's scary because the wheels could fall off real quick.
That's why you don't sign him this year, man. You can't do it.
You never know.
How old is he?
I don't think the Steelers are going to do it
young.
Personally.
26?
Yeah, he's 25.
25.
There was a reporter, I believe it was for Sports Illustrated. I don't remember her name. It was a name I couldn't pronounce, so I couldn't tell you it even if I could remember it. But she has reported that Le'Veon and the Steelers are in talks and are close to a long-term deal. But she's the only person that has written anything. I scoured the internet before we came on. only one that's saying that they are close to a long-term deal. So I don't know how much I believe it.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
Let me ask you this: if you could get Bell, just say you could sign him to 4 years, $40 million with 15 guaranteed, would you take that over his 1 year, $12 million deal?
I don't know, man. If I signed him, I think I'd want to go longer than 4 years, actually.
Longer than 4, so maybe like a 5 or a 6?
Because you don't want to have to sign him when he's 29, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that puts you in an awkward, position at least, because he's going to start falling off sooner or later after that, but he might still have, 2-3 productive years to go. So
that's why I'd try to if you did it next year, I'd say 5 years. If you did it this year, I'd try to get 6 in there.
So what about something like 6 years, $70 million with 20 guaranteed?
Jesus, man, that's a lot of money. No, that's too much.
That's putting him right around the same average annual salary he's going to make on the franchise tag, but obviously,
yeah, that's why it doesn't work
a lot
for
more
me.
Years.
I guess you could backload it and then not pay him that money later.
Yeah, it all depends on how they structure it. LaShawn McCoy, it says he got $40 million, but really, it's the 18 that's guaranteed. That's what you actually know they're going to get. So if they cut LaShawn now, then he only made so much of it. With running backs, the market really isn't there for veteran running backs right now. I'm not saying that Le'Veon, the market wouldn't be there for him because of how young he is, but you have some other guys who've hit out, like Adrian Peterson, even Latavius Murray, I think that's his name, from Oakland Raiders, is a free agent. He's not even garnering much interest. So a lot of these guys, if they get to $7 million per year, are going to be lucky. A lot of people were saying this is one of the deepest drafts at running back in like the last 10 years. So I think they're going to stick with the franchise tag unless somehow the Steelers, get a great deal as far as their end goes, and Le'Veon's an idiot and signs it.
Well, that's how you remain a good team, man. You just wait for good deals.
Believe it. Well, if you were the GM, if you're Kevin Colbert, would you have signed Brown or Bell long term? If we'll just say Brown's not already signed long term.
Unfortunately, I do have to go Brown. I think Brown's the guy.
You think he gives you a better chance to win the Super Bowl than Le'Veon Bell?
I think, yeah, just because Le'Veon Bell can't stay healthy. Yeah.
Little off topic, but would you bring Brandon Marshall in? Just say you could get the right deal.
I mean, yeah, if it's not too expensive, I don't see why not. Who would you put in the slot then, Antonio?
That's what I'm thinking. A lot of people on social media are saying we need to get Marshall here and put him, Brown, and Bryant together with Bell in the backfield, and they'd be unstoppable. First of all, we don't know if Bryant's even going to get reinstated by the league. We can pretty much assume he's going to, but you don't know that 100% yet. And we also don't know if he's going to screw up again between now and the time next season starts. So as much as I am hopeful for Bryant, I don't really include him in the plans till I see that he's been reinstated and he's back working with the team.
Well, wouldn't that be even more of a reason to bring in Marshall?
I mean, yeah, but if Bryant does come back, like you said, as far as the slot, Antonio is the only one whose style fits the slot, but do you want to have to run 3 wides? And I guess you wouldn't have to because you could always mix and match whoever you wanted out there.
Yeah,
but I just don't see it.
In 2 wide, it's definitely going to be Brown still on the field.
Right. I just don't see it with the emergence of Eli Rogers in the slot. If the Steelers believe Bryant will come back, which none of us know what's going on behind the scenes. So if the Steelers think Bryant will be able to make it back, I don't think they're going to sign any type of free agent wide receivers. They'll add through the draft or maybe bring like Darius Hayward-Bay back or something like that.
I actually heard they're looking at wide receiver, not necessarily in free agency, but they believe they can upgrade over Eli Rogers, actually. Not that they hate Eli Rogers or anything, but like I said before, there's no one position that really needs addressed right now. So they think wide receiver is kind of one of those positions they could look at to build up even stronger right now, man. So who knows? I'm not saying bring Brandon Marshall in or anything, but they might use a high pick on a wide receiver.
See, I don't know if they'll use a high pick, though, because they've had so much success with
I agree. I mean,
like 3rd or after.
You actually asked something about that in that 5-question segment we did, and I said that they'd probably wait till later because of how well they draft receivers late in the draft. But from what I heard after that segment, it seems like they're really looking at a wide receiver.
We'll have to see. The combine ends on Monday. Free agency starts, I believe, on Thursday, the 9th. So fans, look forward to our mock draft segments. Will be coming out shortly after that. I didn't want to do one before that because the combine and the first few days of free agency change everything so much. It would have just been pointless to put in all that time.
Believe it.
But I have nothing else. I just wanted to talk to you about Le'Veon Bell and what you thought.
All right, here's a question. In the draft, what is the first offensive position they draft?
The Steelers?
Yes.
Running back.
Running back?
I think they don't want to bring D'Angelo back because it would be too pricey, even for veteran minimum. I think with the depth at running back in this draft and just the overall way the position's gone, all we have is Le'Veon Bell. I mean, that's probably the least deep position on our football team right now is running back.
And what round will it be?
Third? I'm going to guess.
So third round running back. Go look
I think
for
the
him.
first two picks are going to be pass rushers. I think both of them. Defensive ends, linebackers, something in that area, depending on how the Steelers see their defense going in 2017. We've talked a bunch of times about the best way to beat Tom Brady, which seems to be the Steelers' only real obstacle at getting to a Super Bowl, honestly. Any of the years that they had a team good enough to do it, they either made it there, won or lost, or they lost to the Patriots. So the best way to beat Brady is to put pressure on him with only 4 guys. So if somehow they can figure out, add another pass rusher to get in Brady's face, it's so weird to say this.
You don't
and
want
I
to draft
hesitated
because of a team, because of New England. You don't want to form your draft around New England.
I agree, and that's what I'm just going to say. I don't want to say the Steelers should game plan their whole season aimed at that, but you also got to do something. And the Steelers' pass rush got a little better, but James Harrison's old, Jarvis Jones is gone, Timmons, who knows what's going to happen. So I just think pass rusher, regardless, is one of the biggest needs for the Steelers. But I really would like to see them. It'd be nice to see Tuitt, Hargrave, Hayward, and another D lineman out there being able to put pressure on Brady themselves and letting the other 7, or whatever quarterback it is, you know what I mean? The Steelers predominantly used the cover 2 defense in the 70s when their defense wreaked havoc on people, and they didn't really blitz. They got all that pressure with 4 guys. I'm not saying they have to go exactly back to that. It would just be nice to see that, at least a part of their defense.
All right, man, wrap it up.
Fans, questions, or comments, hit us up on Twitter at bet_the_spread. Hit me up on Twitter at betjimtowin. Like I said before, check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. You'll see our mock draft coming up there. You'll see a lot of exciting baseball segments coming up there. More football as the offseason moves on. Go to our YouTube page at youtube.com/betthespread. Search the spread. Love the spread. I'm going to go downstairs and eat a grilled cheese sandwich.